It's sort of like
It's
gambling addiction or something else.
it's all about gambling here at F101. It's all about gambling. And that
Yeah.
is because for F101 episode 7, the Miami preview, we're excited to announce that it's brought to you by FanDuel. That's right. Not only did F1 get FanDuel as their official betting partner in North America, I got FanDuel to sponsor this show, which means a bunch of gambling addicts are going to start watching, not live, because there's no live betting involved, but they will be watching the YouTube replay, and we will be
Yeah,
running prop bets in the comments.
they're paying us in that if we put $500 on a bet, they'll pay it out if we
Yeah,
win.
yes, but only if we win.
Only if we win the bet. It has to be a 10-way parlay.
Yeah, yeah. It's the new slot machine stream. It's just watching the box score of a basketball game because you can't
See,
watch the actual game.
see, I don't need that. I instead have Pokemon Showdown random doubles battles, and I hit battle, and then boom, that's the slot machine.
Yeah, you bet on those two.
I bet my 5 minutes of time to see
There you go.
if I roll love disc as throwing out a love disc frame one.
I love it. I love it. Um. Anyway, this is F101. We are sponsored by FanDuel, and it's me, Hannah,
I
and Dave.
I have an addiction.
Dave has an addiction, and we're not gonna stick around to the end of the show to find out to what.
Anything.
um. And Sam may be here. He said he's going to try, which probably means he's not going to be here. Andrew may be here late, but unlikely. And then Nate and Nat will not be here. So it's just the three of us. We moved it to Thursday to have better attendance, and we've had worse attendance, which is very funny to me. But that's okay. Let's get into it. We are back after 5 weeks of no racing. Um, so yeah, the 5 week break is up. We had a yap session in the middle of it, but we're now back to some actual racing. But before we do that, we've got a lot to talk about. Breaking news, not really breaking anymore, but F1 is going back to Turkey for at least 5 years from 2027 to 31, if not longer. Turkey is a really solid track that drivers and fans enjoy, and it pinch hit during the COVID season in 2020, and then again in 2021, provided us some great racing. And this is when China and Japan had pretty strict lockdown protocols, so the drivers couldn't go, like they weren't allowing people in the country. And Turkey pinch hit, and it was great. Overall, I'm for this. I think this is a great addition to the calendar. We get a real racetrack in the street circuit era. Thank God. So it's hopefully provides some good racing, and it's to me, I'd rather have more stuff like this than the Madrid street circuit,
I'm a
which looks
drink.
like it's going to be the Madrid, which looks like it's going to be just awful. So I'm very for this. I think that's the general consensus that this is a good thing that everyone is doing.
Shout out
Uh,
Turkey. I think they've done nothing wrong.
yeah,
That's it.
like the birds,
The birds, yeah.
like wild
Turkey,
turkeys.
the Ottoman Empire, different story. The birds, Turkey, they've done nothing wrong. In fact, I think they should go back in time to stop Thanksgiving. And
to
there
get
may or may not be
turkeys
a
off the menu.
they get turkeys off the menu. That's right. I forgot. I was making the joke and I forgot. I'm glad someone knows that reference.
Yeah, I spend way too much time online, but also I know good cinema, so.
It is good cinema. I see we have the same taste in movie reviewers.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, Max, I'll break it down for you. We need to go back in time.
Yeah, I got
See,
that.
Yeah.
okay. And Hannah, what do we need? Why do we need
Yeah,
that?
you're taking turkeys off the
So
menu.
no, yeah, but they have to go back in time to the first Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
So that we
That's
can
the
get
thing.
turkeys off the menu.
yeah, I got
Yeah,
all that.
that's
I
right.
That's
They're
it.
going back in time to the first
Yeah.
Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on before this becomes Rose takes over the show. Um, with the weekend schedule, we're just going to the weekend schedule. I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. So
We're
practice
talking
Please
about
don't
was.
make
going
us say
back
it
in
again.
time. We're
No,
talking about going
no,
back in time
I
to the
don't know
first
the.
Thanksgiving.
I don't understand the context, but it's fine.
We're talking about turkey.
I got it. I got it. All right. Practice one is this Friday at 4:30 p.m. And then the sprint qualifying, it is a sprint weekend, is Friday at 4:30 p.m. The sprint is Saturday at noon, qualifying Saturday at 4, and the race is Sunday at 4. We got some late afternoon racing ahead of us. And Miami was last year the site of the famous Lego Drivers Parade, which was the one time last year everybody on the grid was having a good time. It was the only time everyone had a ton of fun, and it was really funny, and I hope they do it again because it was fun to watch, and it was the first time in I think 4 years that Lewis Hamilton smiled while in a race car. So it was great. Loved the Lego Parade. If you haven't seen the Lego Parade, you should go watch the Lego Parade. It was great. It's worth your time. The track itself is a street circuit through the parking lot of Miami's Hard Rock Stadium, and it is 5.4 kilometers long, 57 laps for a 308-kilometer race distance. Max Verstappen here has the lap record with a 129.708 from 2023 in his insane drive where he broke Checo's spirit. And last year's average lap times were around a 135, and North last year had the fastest lap in the race of a 129. But it's Florida, so it rains a lot, but usually not for very long. Last year's sprint was a total mess. Leclerc crashed on the way to the grid because of the rain, so don't underestimate the potential of weather at this track. There's been some articles about F1 potentially canceling the race because of crazy thunder and lightning, but nothing confirmed. And like I said, when it does rain, it doesn't usually rain for very long, so I don't think that's much of a concern.
That would be insane if they have to cancel this one too.
It would actually be crazy.
It'd be
It would
really
be
funny.
so funny. But
I'm all for it.
they'd also have to cancel the sprint.
Yeah, they cancel the whole thing. Like you get FP1. That's it. They cancel the
You
rest
get
of
half of FP1, which is extended to 90 minutes this.
it. Oh, good. I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited for Lance Stroll to get another practice session.
Well, yeah. So there have been some regulation changes, and I'm sure everyone who's into F1 has already heard about them. I'm gonna go over them very quickly here. Uh, FIA agreed to them. They're gonna take permanent effect in Miami. Excuse me. For qualifying, the amount that the drivers can recharge the battery has been lowered, which means less time spent harvesting and more time spent, and this is a direct quote, flat out driving. The super clipping power has also been increased, which means less recharging time, and that's also for the races. Basically, super clipping is when they're going flat out and the battery's trying to recharge so the car goes slower. Um, they also changed the quote number of events where alternative lower energy limits may be applied, basically allowing them to change energy needs on a per circuit basis. For races, the power from boost has been reduced, and the MGUK deployment has been limited in order to, quote, reduce excessive closing speeds while maintaining overtaking opportunities and overall performance characteristics. And that's to try and prevent what happened to Behrman in Japan from happening again. So basically, how I'm reading it and how everyone's reading it is that they're making the cars slower. um, in order to make them safer and in order to reduce the reliance on battery, they're just making everything slower, which is really sad. For race starts, if a driver gets a bad start with, quote, abnormally low acceleration, the MGUK will kick in to give them some extra acceleration to, quote, mitigate risk without introducing any sporting advantage. There's a lot of debate about what this actually means. It's like, well, if you get a bad start, does it just negate it? This is like people are saying this is screwing over Ferrari for the great starts. And I don't think that's the case. I think it just means instead of being completely stopped, your car will kick in to let you actually move forward so the people behind you who will overtake you if you have a bad start regardless, won't just crash into your completely stationary car. Um, so Max Verstappen and Kimi Antonelli have not been fully saved by this new reg. And then there's some additional changes for wet conditions, likely in anticipation of the rain in Miami. I don't really know how these regs are going to play out. I think making the car slower is sad, especially for F1. And in an era all about the battery, lowering what the battery does is really funny. I hope the super clipping fix works. I hope the cars can be fast on straights, but my hopes are low. I think the safety changes are needed, though. I think everyone agrees with that. What happened to Behrman, if it happened on a different track like Jeddah or Miami or Vegas, it would be way worse. And I hope the changes are substantial enough to matter. The last thing anyone wants is for everyone to be confident in safety measures that don't work. But overall, making the car slower in what is considered to be the pinnacle of motorsport is quite the angle to take in terms of fixing the cars.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. But I think they're just basically making the cars a little bit slower to appease the fans, and then it's the same. Like the
Yeah,
game theory is the same, pretty much. Maybe you get lower harvesting times, but it's still like charge the battery, get ahead, use up all your battery. The other person charges their battery and gets ahead of you. Like the math is still mathin'. It might not be as like as crazy as it was the first few races of just back and forth, like with insane differentials. But I think it's still gonna be the same type of racing.
yeah,
Hmm.
I'm not overly confident. I think these regs kind of suck. I thought like the racing is entertaining, and I will say that, but also it's like if the drivers hate it, it's kind of hard for that not to leak into the fans' opinions of the regs, whether or not the fans really actually like it or not. Um, when all the drivers hate it, it's kind of hard for like to be like, oh, well, I like it, even if the drivers hate it. That like opinion tends to kind of, I feel like, seep into the fan base.
I think a counterpoint to that is I think it's hard for a lot of them to like the car when most people's car just kind of sucks. Like, do they hate their regs or they hate their car? And probably
Right.
right now it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah. Um, I guess it'll say. I guess it'll take like we'll see if a Ferrari driver or McLaren driver, now that McLaren seem to be maybe on the up and up, what they say. Uh, because the Mercedes drivers aren't going to say anything about their regs because they're winning every race.
Yeah. Yeah, I also think that like we saw a few battles, but everyone seems to be like grouping up into their where their car sits right now, which
Right.
isn't especially for these regs that are all about overtaking and like strategy. When you're in a Red Bull and you can't compete, you just nothing happens. It's like okay, well nothing's happening, so
Yeah.
this sucks.
Yeah. And maybe like as the year goes on and maybe next year it'll even out a little bit more, but it's like how much of it is like Mercedes engine is just better than everybody else's to the point where it's not even going to be no one else can be close to competitive. But you can't just like it took multiple years to develop the engine. So you can't just be like, "All right, next year we're doing things totally different." That has to be agreed upon like years in advance.
Or just pay off Mercedes. Hey Mercedes, here's like $20 million. We're restarting. You're too good.
Yeah.
Destroy the engine.
But then no one has an engine though is the issue. It's not like there's no quick fix.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. There's
I think these will be the first of a few regulation changes. We may not see more until the summer break, but we'll see. And that's the reg changes. Overall, they're making the car slower. Is basically the layman's uh explanation there, which is so sad, but also kind of
it is pretty funny, and they caved after 3 races. But I mean, it was the time to you have 5 week break.
yeah, longest break, longer than the summer break. So, and unlike the summer break, teams could work on the cars, so it did kind of work out. So let's get into the race preview, shall we? Let's get into it. If I say upgrade, I mean update. Update is like the standard term for when someone brings a change to their car. I'll probably like waffle between the two, but I do mean update. That's the proper term. So the practice session, like I mentioned, has been extended from 60 to 90 minutes, giving teams more time to test their new updates from the break and to get used to the new regulation changes. It's been 5 weeks since we last raced, so that also plays a part in the practice session extension. And there's a high chance of chaos and drama. But at the same time, it could be a big week for the nothing ever happens people. Like if everybody improves, then nothing changes. You know what I mean? If everyone gets better, then everyone's still kind of at least related to each other where they were when they started. So that is it could go either way, but I think it may lean more towards. I do think there could be some changes with a few teams, but others will kind of end up not doing much. Like I mentioned earlier, it's Florida, which means it could rain at any time for any duration. Teams will obviously be prepared for this. But one thing we haven't seen is how these new regulations handle the rain and handle wet condition. Rain shakes things up a lot, but with the dramatic speed differences these regs have caused, it could be much more dangerous than before. If that's the case, I hope the regs are further adjusted as opposed to just not racing in the rain, which I could also see the FIA doing. The FIA being like, "Oh, it's not safe because it's wet conditions, so we're just going to not race." There's a certain amount of rain where that is valid, but I don't want it to be just like a blanket fix.
I love some wet racing. I love seeing Lance
Wow,
Stroll get up.
Freudian slip.
Freudian slip. I love seeing Lando get it up there in the positions.
Yeah.
And by that I mean Lance Stroll get up there in positions and then towards the end of the race just crash down when it stops raining.
So just to
It's
confirm, you like to see Lando Norris get it up.
yeah, I like to see Lando Norris get it up there towards the
All right.
points.
Good to
And
know.
I like to see Lance
Okay.
Stroll get it down, go way down the rankings. After it stops
Mhm.
raining.
But only if it's wet.
Only if it's wet, and then I like to see Fernando just mop it up and pass Lance Stroll at the end.
So the fan fiction
Okay.
episode this summer. I'm expecting big things
Lance
from you, Dave.
Lance Stroll's a window licker, but whose window is he licking? That's what I'm
I
asking.
think maybe you need to write whose window he's looking.
Oh shit.
I think it's up
Yeah,
to you.
sure.
I think it's up to you. Anyway, here's the thing with the 5 week gap. Like I said, if everyone approves, nothing changes. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but I also don't think we're going to see Ferrari or McLaren ahead of Mercedes. So with Mercedes, the question isn't really what will change with the car; it's more what will change with the drivers. Antonelli leads the championship, but it's been 5 weeks since the last race. If we're starting from a more neutral place in terms of momentum, it's good for Russell, who's looking for a bounce back from Japan, where he missed out on the podium, more due to a bad setup than it was to the car or his own driving. The setup just was not working for the track. And I think a Mercedes 1-2 is in both races is very much a possibility, and they're definitely still the favorites to win the race. I haven't heard about any major updates for them. I'm sure they're bringing them, but I wouldn't expect them to suddenly suck. I would very much expect them to be at the front of the pack
Yeah,
and both
I
of their
mean
drivers.
they're so good, and once they get ahead, those Ferraris with good starts, like whoever's in front just kind of pulls away.
Yeah.
Um, at least compared to last year, they don't both pull away. Like last year, Lando and Oscar would just pull away and be like a whole minute ahead by the end. But someone gets stuck in the back and has to and muck it up for a little bit longer, I feel like, which makes it a little bit more entertaining. But whoever it's still whoever's in first place. It's just they're gone.
Yeah. I also think that it's a street circuit. A crash here brings out generally long safety cars, if not a red flag. And with rain and with the new car setups and everything, I think safety car possibility here is pretty high. I think there's a big chance of a safety car, which cars are good on the restarts of. So safety car comes in at the end of the race. It it goes back into the pits with 3 laps left, Ferrari gets ahead, they can probably hold off Mercedes for those 3 laps.
So it's got to be 3 laps. It's got to be like,
Yeah, it's got to be,
like
5 at most.
because
If
that sprint, I
that.
was like, oh, the sprint. I'm like, oh, this is where Ferrari can, maybe they can just stay ahead. No,
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 the sprint was too long.
this sprint's too long. Can't handle it. So
Yeah.
it's got to be perfectly timed. Hulkenberg crash into the wall. Red flag. He takes his time getting out.
Well,
1 lap
historically
left.
in this track, it's more likely to be Colapinto.
Shit, don't say that. He's a changed man. He has 1 point.
It's true.
He
He
has,
does have a
he has
point.
as many points as Esteban Ocon. So
Yeah, he does. That's true. That's true. Yeah, so it's going to take a lot, I still think, for Ferrari or McLaren. But with McLaren, here's the thing with McLaren. They're bringing, quote, a completely new car, according to Andrea Stella, to Miami. And both drivers are hopeful they'll be able to challenge for the Mercedes. And this is from the team. They think they're going to be able to challenge Mercedes for wins and even the championship this year. They think they're in the running still for the championship. They have quite the hill to climb after their streak of non-starts in the first 2 races. But they did have some pace in Japan before all these updates come in, and there's no reason to expect that baseline pace to disappear um, in in Miami. However, if their car is completely new, a 90-minute practice session is a big ask for the drivers to understand how it works, how it drives, how it reacts. Regardless, they're confident, and there's no reason we shouldn't be confident in them until both cars fail to start the race again.
can you just have a whole new car?
Um,
Is that allowed?
Well, there are certain parts you can't change. You can't change your brakes. There's like certain standardized parts, but the aero package, the chassis, you can totally change up. You can't change the engine unless you're allowed to by the FIA, but they haven't done that yet. Um, but you can change the chassis, which is a huge part of how the car is going to work. So, and they have that Mercedes engine, so maybe if they get closer to Mercedes design, that actually could work. So you can change a lot on the car. I mean, so forget who, like through the last regulation set, a lot of teams like midway through the year would switch between their car having side pods and then not having side pods at all. Um, so there's been pretty drastic changes. Red Bull is bringing the Macarena wing. They made their own version of it that Ferrari has. So like you can get pretty you can change quite a bit, and the stuff you can change matters. So that's why there's in-season upgrades, allowing teams to catch up to the people in front of them, or stay ahead of the people behind them.
Oh well, my bold prediction this week was going to be that someone looks suspiciously faster than before, but that doesn't seem as bold anymore. But I'm gonna change. I'm gonna make it work.
Well, wait till you get to Aston because there's something potentially suspicious happening, and it's probably a nothing burger of a story, but I do like drama. But they're at the end of the list here, so we got to get through some other teams first, and one of those teams would be Ferrari, who I struggle to have faith in. I have no doubts that their car is strong, and that I have no doubts that they have been making updates to the car in the 5-week break. However, I have doubts those updates are actually going to be good because I have doubts in Ferrari in general. And Miami shares a lot of similarities to Japan where their car struggled. Those long straights are really going to hurt them, especially if they come in with a similar setup they had in Japan. They may fare better in the sprint where there's less opportunities for the weakness in the car on the longer straights to be a hindrance. But again, we said that in China and it didn't matter. And they have their starts to rely on. And like I said, with the safety cars and everything, that could play into their hand. Despite all that, I am finding it difficult to have faith in Ferrari after after their performance in Japan. And
Great
both drivers
drivers, great
were not happy.
great drivers, great car. But you know what? It doesn't matter because the name on the front of the of their hats, of their chests, Ferrari.
That
That's all that
prancing
matters.
that prancing horse. It's an
So
ill
press
omen.
all the way to
Fifth
not
place.
winning. Yeah.
but to get enough podiums where there's hope for the future. And that's the
Yeah,
Ferrari trap.
that's why I'm an Alpine fan, because there's no hope.
You guys have some good hope this year. Not to win it all, but do to be good. To be
Our
decent.
team principal likes going to islands. I don't
All right,
know.
well, that is an issue. That's an issue. Well,
It's not, and it's unfortunately not the only team that has that problem.
it's not. Hey, Red Bull got rid of their creepo. So,
Yeah, we'll get to the other team that has
and
that.
you know where he's rumored to land, baby? Alpine.
So
Yeah,
crazy.
the island team, island
Oh my
boys, is what we call
god.
ourselves.
Island boys. It's an island adventure over at Alpine every day. Every
Oh
day
god.
is a new venture. They're gonna hire the very first like Hawaiian or Samoan driver just to stick with the theme,
My god.
No, they're going to
and
from the U.S. Virgin Islands.
he'll be 17.
Colapinto, he's pretty young, but he does like them old, so I think he's a perfect fit.
He's opposite.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
he's a consenting adult who likes older consenting adults.
If
Now,
certain
the consent part might be an issue for some of the people on the island, but
if certain political figures only all went with the Colapinto method of liking them older and liking them with consent, the world would be a different place.
shout out Bill Belichick.
Shout
Shout
out to
out.
you know what? Shout out to Franco Colapinto for liking them older.
Yeah,
We
shout out
get
for your
enough of that these
Colapinto.
days.
Shout out to Zach Wilson. Shout out to all you milf hunters out
Yes.
there.
Shout out to Zach Wilson. Oh man. All right. Anyway, speaking of island adventures, Red Bull and their former team principal. Of the top teams, Red Bull needed the break the most. In the 5 weeks, they've likely focused on fixing the aero and the weight of the car, as they're very confident in their engine and what it can do. Um, they have said that Max and Verstappen have been, or I'm sorry, not Max and Verstappen. Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar have been very involved in the updates of the car, which is good.
Hey,
Both
I think you're
drivers.
right the first time. To be clear, I think you're right the first time.
I mean, technically, I was right the first time, but Hadjar has been involved. Hadjar has been involved, and both drivers have said that the car is really difficult to drive, and that's something that the team is really working hard to fix, and that's something that they said they've been working hard to fix. So, if they can fix it, then there's no reason they shouldn't be fighting with the rest of the top three teams. It's a big ask, though, and I'm not expecting them to come out and win or even be on the podium right away. But I think floating right below the podium is a realistic goal for the team after the break. I would really like to see that as a
it
fan of them.
it's crazy that they've been known to build some pretty hard to drive cars, but it's like, oh, cars only Max can drive. They finally went over the edge. They built a car that Max can't drive and no one can drive.
Yeah.
Um, I'd like to see them compete for entertainment, but for the drama and the silliness of it, I think it's really funny that they compete with Alpine down in the
Definitely
midfield.
the silliness, but wouldn't there be more drama if Max was competing with George?
No,
Imagine
I think
Max and George going back and forth like the Ferrari drivers do with each other.
imagine Max and Arvid Lindblad going back and forth like they've been
That
doing.
happens. I
I
know.
know, that's what I'm
I don't
saying.
have to imagine. I could just watch the race
You watch the race.
Oh my god.
That's what you get. That's what you deserve. You've gotten too much. Let Pierre Gasly and Ollie Behrman be top of the mids, and
Hey,
let
they can still be top of the mids with Red Bull at the top of the top. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's room for both.
we'll see. We'll see. I
We
think
just bump
Gasly's
Ferrari down. We'll bump Ferrari back down on McLaren.
I think we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I
I
generally they've been pretty good in the past with bringing updates that help. So rarely do they bring an update that like hinders the car, which does happen for all the teams, but rarely for Red Bull. So, but anyway, yeah. So I really like them to see maybe them floating right below the podium, if not on the podium. I mean, I don't think they're gonna get on the podium. I would love it though. So that's my Red Bull hope, my Red Bull hopium. And speaking of Ollie Behrman, which Dave mentioned earlier, Haas is in a good spot to take this break, analyze their hot start to the year, and keep fanning the flame. Historically, for the team, updates have come slow and have been groundbreaking, a flaw to the team's size and previous mismanagement that their current principal Komatsu has been working very hard to fix and has somewhat successfully fixed or begun the process to fix. I don't think he's fully turned that aspect of the team around yet, but that takes time. Behrman has fully recovered from his crash in Japan. He's going to be ready to race when Friday comes, and I expect him to keep his impressive form going. But the team needs Ocon to catch up so they can stay ahead of Alpine.
Yeah, I didn't realize how poorly Ocon has been, but he has 1 point.
He wasn't that great last year either. He was the only. He got beat by his rookie teammate. He was one of the only drivers to get beat by the rookie teammate.
I guess that's true, but damn, he's on the level of the Franco Colapinto. And arguably the Alpine's a worse car.
I think
So
between those two, it more or less depends on the track.
yeah, probably. But Ollie was beating Pierre, which to me means that the Alpine has a worse car. Because that
Yeah,
just, Pierre's the better driver, as we all know.
I mean, I don't think anyone would really actually disagree with that. I know you're saying it in a joking tone, but Pierre is the better driver. Pierre, in my opinion, is the best driver not on a top team.
He might be the best driver in all of F1.
Well, I don't know about that one. So Pierre is very, very impressive last year and this year. So if last year I told you Alpine would be tied with Red Bull after 3 races in a sprint, you'd be very surprised. You'd probably call me crazy. If I added that they were both behind Haas, you would double down on your original assertion and call me crazy again. That's where we find ourselves. So no longer occupying our coveted final spot in the show. The team is off to a great start to the year and find themselves in a similar position to Haas, relying on upgrades and needing their one of their drivers to catch up to the other. They need Colapinto to catch up to Gasly in order to get ahead and then stay ahead of Haas. I haven't heard about what they're bringing to Miami, but they're definitely bringing something. Everyone's bringing something to Miami, even if like you haven't heard about it. They're bringing something. If a team shows up in Miami with no upgrades to the car, that is just a failure. That's like they're admitting defeat. They're waving the white flag. Like it's just, I mean, it would be an embarrassment even. I don't see the only team I can see that happening would be Cadillac, who maybe don't fully understand their car and what their car needs. They might not have the resources or whatever, but even then, I still think they're gonna be they'll be bringing something. So everyone's
They might not even understand the regs. Who knows?
Well, actually, one of them, I think it was Bottas, didn't know there was a boost button. So
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, so maybe they keep it simple for him.
He found out in Japan, so it's
Took him
fine.
to Japan? Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
2 weeks.
How does that happen?
And you know what?
Tell.
He outqualified the Astons, who did know about it.
They were like, he was like, I get what everyone's saying about the Mario Kart thing now, like the mushroom.
My God.
Just never turn on the news about F1. Didn't talk to anyone.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
He's too busy cycling with his Olympian wife and taking nude photos.
As he should have, to be honest,
Yeah,
Honestly,
that's
good for
exactly
him.
what he should be doing.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him.
That's his value to society.
Mm-hmm.
That's his value among other things, I hope.
Nude photos is pretty high up there, I think.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair. That's fair. So yeah, I can see Cadillac. That would be the only team that may have an excuse to not bring any updates to Miami. Right behind Alpine in the points and in performance of Racing Bulls, Lawson's been very solid this year, and Lindblad, well, definitely a rookie. He's got a lot of promise, despite maybe he makes a few mistakes here and there, but he's fast. They have the same engine as Red Bull and are confident in it, and they just need to get a better handle on the car, and the results will come. They don't necessarily have the same problems Red Bull does, so their updates will look different and will be different, but they're still going to want to be right up there in the order with the rest of the midfield, which currently includes Red Bull. So they're going to want to be fighting the sister team there. And they're all yellow this weekend. They've got a cool little yellow car for the race, promoting Red Bull's summer edition drink. And it looks good. I liked it. I like the yellow kit, and I like the livery they got going on. They're the only team to announce a special livery for Miami. Usually not every, but many teams do. And I wonder if maybe the 5-week break kind of put a hinder on that. Um and like with the updates to the car and everything. So I don't know. But they're the only ones, at least as far as I'm aware, to have announced a special livery. Oh, and Cadillac. Cadillac has one as well. So only 2 teams have announced a special livery.
There's no patriotism in F1. You know, it's America's 250th. You're supposed to
Wait
show
till
out.
wait until Texas or
I,
Vegas. I feel like Texas
I
and
Yeah.
Vegas, they really advertise as American races. I don't get that vibe as much with Miami.
Miami's a Cuban race, as we all know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, talking about Racing Bulls, Arvid and Isaac are in same point total at 4. And I feel like they've had a very similar story. They both had good races, but just some bad luck falls on them, or something happens, and for Arvid, it's more like he gets high up in the points and he just can't hold on to it. And
He
Isaac has
qualifies really
some,
well.
yeah, and Isaac just has had some unfortunate races. He's crashed a couple times. I mean, that Red Bull just smokes out every now and again,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and it's
So
sad.
it is. But we'll see what they can do in Miami. And they'll be easy to spot on track, that is for sure. So, and it's
My
maybe we should
Crayola Kings.
let's change Miami to the Fidel Castro Memorial Race.
Let's go.
Oh
What's his
my
brother's
god.
name? Who's the
I don't
current
know. Oh, you look it up. While you look
dictator?
it up, I'm going to talk about Audi, all right? Audi appointed Alan McNish as the racing director, which is a promotion for him that a lot of people outside the team really liked as a move. There's a lot of commentary on that. That was very positive. They're working on regaining some stability for the team after the sudden departure of Wheatley, whose future is still unconfirmed. And the team needs that stability so they can focus on getting better results on track. 2 points isn't a lot to show for a team that had a lot of promise going into the year. But I'm not giving up on them. I think the vibes, despite all the shakeups, are still pretty high for them. And 2026 is a year that like a new-ish team. I say new-ish because it's Audi's first year, but it's like a lot of Sauber's personnel and stuff still. But if 2026 is a year, the newish team needs to get their feet set so they can show who they are in 2027. I can get down with that. Um, all that to say, they'll probably be fighting for lower point spread time. I mean, it would take another miracle like the Hulken podium to get another Hulken podium. So, and I wouldn't expect it in these regs, certainly. So I think they're kind of just looking for a little more stability. But I think the vibe is good for them. I think the vibes are good for the team. I'm pro Audi.
Yeah. Now they got the gambling sponsor off of them, and now we have one.
Yeah,
It's pretty good vibes.
well, not all of them.
And work. That's true. And I mean, it's good vibes when your second year driver is looking good.
Yeah, Orlando looks great.
Um, yeah. So even if the
Or
car
the
kind of
car.
sucks, you're like, okay, we at least have a driver to drive a car once we figure it out.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Although when Hulkenberg retires, I don't know what they're going to do.
Who's the up and comers? Like who's going to replace Colapinto when he gets fired mid-season?
Paul Aaron, I think, just like last year.
Okay.
Um, Not Jack Doohan. He drives for Haas now.
Oh
So
shit.
when Ocon gets
So
fired mid-season.
yeah,
Damn.
bring it in. You can do it.
So yeah. So that's Audi. And if you thought Red Bull needed this 5-week break, just look at Williams. No one needed it more than them. I don't think there's any arguing that. And while unconfirmed, they certainly spent this break working on getting the car's weight down, which is their biggest issue. The drivers have been struggling, and while Sainz did score in China, 2 points is nowhere near where the team was last year at this time. And if and when they get the weight situation started, we'll be looking at a completely different car. But it's going to be a tough task for them. For a team that ditched 25 to focus on 2026 so early, I'm wondering when the results of that decision are going to show. I don't want to write them off just yet, but if they fail to come out swinging in Miami, I feel like it's going to bring up some questions and start a very long year for the team.
It's looking
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, it's been rough. It's been a horrible start for them, especially when you compare them to last year. They were fifth, they ended the year in fifth. They started the year in fifth and just kind of stayed there, which is great for them. And they are awful this year. There's no like, they're just plain awful. Albin was using the Japanese Grand Prix as another testing practice session. So it's real bad. It's real bad.
But it's keeping. Was it your dream alive, Max, of Cadillac not being bottom two?
I'm hoping. It's gonna take a while, but I'm hoping.
They need to score 8 point.
Yeah. No, they need to score
2 or 3.
3 points. 3 points.
Yeah. Even if they just scored 2 and they tie, I'll give it to you because
It's a
that's
miracle. It would be a miracle.
it's a
So
miracle.
yeah. So it's been rough for Williams. It's been a really bad start. Miami, I think, is going to be very important to them, or for them, more so than anyone else. They need to come out strong. They need to come out swinging. And if they don't, it's like, what was the point of ditching 25 so early? Like, where is the fruits of all of this labor?
I mean, to be fair, I think most teams ditch 25 pretty early.
Yeah, everyone but Red Bull, pretty much. But Williams was very like vocal about switching early too. They were very like, we're gonna focus on 26. They were like a big success story last year, and it has not been good. So, and a lot of it's because their car is overweight and like majorly overweight. So they really gotta fix that. Um, and that's gonna be step one. So their car may look very similar to what it was. It just might be lighter. Oh, hopefully. So,
Well, there's a really good way to get your car later. That's hiring Yuki Tsunoda.
well, you say that, but there's a standard weight for the drivers, and if they're below that, they add stuff to the car to make it so
No.
that the driver's weight, yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. It's to make sure that like you don't get an advantage by hiring Yuki Tsunoda.
Damn. So Yuki would have been the best driver in the world if that rule didn't exist.
In like the 80s.
There
He
you
gets the
go.
aggression for the 80s too. He probably would have actually crushed him and Kobayashi. Although Kobayashi was like early 2000s, but still, put them both in the 80s and see what happens.
Duke it out, little guys duking it out.
Yeah. Give Yuki his deserved world championship. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you know what? Put the other Yuki in there too. The Yuki from the Bulls.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, why
Yuki
not?
Kawamura. Put Yuki Kawamura from the Chicago Bulls and Yuki Tsunoda from Red Bull together.
Yeah. See what
And you got
happens.
a buff little man.
I love it. I love it. Of all the teams, I may be most interested to see what the Cadillac looks like in Miami. They've been doing their own thing this year, and both drivers have said the team isn't that far away from being able to fight the back of the field. Not for points, just the back of the field. And I hope that the break has given the team the chance to make that happen. I don't see them in the points just yet, but I would love to see and somewhat expect a big improvement from the team. I know earlier I was like, if any team has an excuse to not bring an update, it's them. But really, realistically, I am really excited to see what they bring to Miami. They've got a new fancy livery. That's not really that much of a different livery, but they got a different livery. And I really hope they have some. I hope they can race other cars instead of just like driving with each other. They're not even racing each other. They're just kind of driving with each other. So I'd really like to see them in some battles.
If Cadillac scores points in Miami, I will ditch Alpine and become a Cadillac fan.
Write it down. Put it in the pick the podium doc.
I mean, it doesn't take much for me to get off the island. Let me tell you.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad you can freely leave the island.
I aged out many years ago.
That's true.
And I have not yet aged in.
No, not to be on the other side.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, Aston. Speaking of the island, I don't know what the hell's going on at Aston. I really don't. Surely the car will be serviceable after 5 weeks of development, right? It's gonna be okay. Does anyone have any faith in this team? Alonso claims the car can go the distance, but can it do it with speed? Can it actually? I wouldn't be surprised if they made big improvements, but I would not be surprised if the car totally still sucks. They're not really worth putting on your podium prediction, I can tell you that. However, this is where the weirdness comes in. They did test a weird F1 hypercar hybrid thing that some people joked was them finding a way to test F1 updates illegally. Apparently, it was a custom design from a really rich guy, an unnamed really rich guy. He was like, I want an F1 hypercar hybrid. So it looks like the Batmobile. I'm not even kidding. It looks like the Batmobile with a halo from an F1 car. Like that's literally what it looks like. And it's like they're like, yeah, we're testing this thing in Portugal, and it's a wealthy client who's anonymous wanted us to make it, so we made it. And a lot
And
of
that
folks
was
are like, was that wealthy client Lawrence Stroll?
yeah. No, his name was Soren. The short.
Lowell.
It's unpronounceable.
So
It's a very
it's Franz
exotic
Herman.
dialect.
It's Franz Herman. Um, So it's very obviously it is really bizarre what it looks like, and it does seem like are they testing new things illegally? I don't think so because I think they'd get caught and then they would get punished unless they're so ass that the FIA is turning a blind eye. But I don't think so.
Please, they're like, please, just be able to race a race. Just finish.
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
it's funny to think that's what they're doing, but realistically, I don't think it is. The only thing that really came out about the team over the break is Alonso basically saying this wasn't going to be his last year in the sport, which we knew last year. Last year, he said if 2026, if they're competitive, he's done. If they're not, he's going to keep going. So he's going to keep going.
wait, they're not competitive? It's crazy.
No, and
Does he think they'll be competitive next year?
no, probably not. So that's our Miami preview. It's kind of like a reset. It's really hard to judge what's going to change. We should have more information for the Canadian Grand Prix preview, which will come in a few weeks because there's a 2 week break between Miami and Canada. So yeah, I hope you're ready for more
Oh,
time without
I could use a
F1.
break. Yeah, I don't know.
I know
It's
one
tough.
race. Honestly, I think that them starting this coming after this unprecedented and unexpected break to a sprint race is really funny. Can you
Yeah,
imagine if the first race of the year was a sprint? That'd be awesome.
gross. Gross. The first time you get to see the new cars, it's in a sprint. You think that a Ferrari has a chance,
Yeah, they give everyone hopium.
and they
That'd be
see,
so
and
funny.
then Aston Martin sees that they can't actually go more than 15 laps.
Yeah, that'd be so good. So yeah, so that's Miami. Any questions, anything to say about Miami before we get to the podiums?
Do you want me to say something?
No, well, I don't think so after that. I'm not sure. I'm just
We have
asking.
to go back in time.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, to the first Thanksgiving.
Yeah, to get Lance Stroll off the island.
Well, you know what? I'm for that.
Yeah, we need to get him off the island.
Yeah, I'm
He'd be
Yeah.
okay
a
with
different.
that.
He'd be a different man.
Yeah, I'm down for that. All right, let's hit the
Turkey for
results.
you should stay on the menu though. You don't give a shit about turkeys.
No. Let's let's get these podium predictions out of the way. I have everyone who's not here. I have their predictions. So we will just go in order. Sam is leading, which means he goes first. So in the sprint, he has Antonelli winning. Then he has Russell in second and Hamilton in third. Do we want to do all of the sprints and then all the races, or do we want to do both at once?
Uh, let's do both at once.
All right, we're doing both at once. And then in the race,
Since
Sam
yeah.
has Antonelli winning again, followed by Norris in second and Leclerc in third, leaving Russell off of the podium. Then I'm in second place by 2 points for the sprint. I have Antonelli winning. Then I have a Norris second place and Russell in third. This is like one of the very few times I've picked Norris to be on the podium recently. And I think what's going to happen is Antonelli's going to win the sprint. It's going to look like he's going to keep his lead. It's going to look like he's going to keep the momentum. And then he's going to get a horrible start in the race and not going to be able to recover. And it's going to be Russell, Antonelli, and Piastri in taking the final spot on the podium. I've got for McLaren this weekend. Then it's Nat's turn, and she, for the sprint, has Leclerc, Piastri, Norris, really leaning into the McLaren hopium here, and then Piastri winning the race with Leclerc behind and Russell in third. So that's our top three predictions here for our top three scores. In fourth place, it's Hannah. So let's hear them.
Oh. All right.
You're tied with Nate, actually. So I'll let you decide if you want to hear Nate's predictions first.
No, Nate can go first. I can go after.
All right. Nate's predictions are for the sprint, he has Russell and Antonelli and then Hamilton. And then for the race, he has Leclerc winning, like he has Leclerc winning every race. And then followed by Russell and Norris. And Nate will have Leclerc continue to win every single race for the rest of the year. All right, now it's your turn, Hannah.
Okay. So for the sprint, I'm putting Oscar first,
All right.
followed by George, and then Kimmy.
Okay. Oops, spelled Russell wrong there. Russell Antonelli. And for the race?
For the race, I'm gonna put George back on top, and
Okay.
then Kimmy,
Russell
and
tops
then I'll.
Antonelli. Got it.
Well, we don't have to say it like that. And then I have Lewis in third.
All right.
Who's watching from the sidelines? Got it.
Yeah,
There you
well,
go.
he's got his own thing going on with
With
Miss Kim
with
K.
yeah, with Kim. Kimmy! Conspiracy.
Oh my god!
Anyway, Andrew has Russell winning
Problematic age gap. Problematic age gap alert. Come on, guys.
Andrew has Russell winning the sprint, followed by Hamilton in second and Leclerc in third. And then he has Russell winning the race, and then Antonelli in second, and then Leclerc in third. So some repetition here for our friend. And finally, the one everyone's been waiting for.
Yeah. I got in third. I got Leclerc
For the sprint.
for the sprint. Yeah, this is very much for the sprint.
Okay.
Second, I got Hamilton,
Okay.
and then first I have Verstappen. I
Ooh,
predict
okay.
that. I
Ooh,
predict.
very bold.
I predict that the Mercedes are going to crash out, and the Ferrari thinks they have a chance, and Verstappen is going to somehow beat them and crush their dreams.
I love that.
I thought you would. Okay, and
I'm
then
for this.
for the race, I'm gonna pick who I think is gonna cheat the most, which
Okay.
is very much. I mean, Alpine is, for sure. So yeah, put Gasly up in front. P1
Okay.
Gasly.
Gasly P1.
I haven't even guessed him this year yet. That's crazy. We'll do Lance P2, and we'll do Bottas P3. Yeah, I think those teams are gonna cheat their way to the 5 weeks. Yeah, who knows? They're a wild card. Bottas probably cheats his wife all the time. He's so hot.
All right, Dave. I'm doing something here because I like Dave's sprint prediction so much. If Verstappen does win, Dave gets double points.
Wow. Okay.
And here's my bold prediction. Um. Uh. Team will get caught cheating for sure.
Okay, so that's your bold prediction. Dave's bold
Yeah,
prediction: team will get caught cheating. My
I
bold
was gonna say that they're
prediction.
gonna. I was gonna say that they were gonna get like there's rumors, but there are rumors. So you know what? Someone is cheating. I'm calling it.
What should my bold prediction be? It's hard. I didn't really think about one. I did not really think of one. Should my bold prediction be nothing ever happens?
Nothing happens. It's all the same. It's this. It's the same finishing order for the race as
Yes, yes,
Japan.
yes. Max's bold prediction: nothing ever happens. Finishing order is the exact same as Japan. There
That
you
would
go.
be so funny. That would be
That'd be amazing.
hilarious.
Okay, so wait. Well, Hannah, if you want to think of a bold prediction, I'm gonna review Japan real quick. So that would mean it would be
Kimmy
Antonelli,
win.
Piastri, Leclerc would be that means Behrman and Stroll aren't finishing again.
I forgot that George didn't get podium on that
He
one.
didn't podium, yeah. I literally mentioned it today, so it's crazy you forgot.
It
Oh my
was so long
god.
ago. I don't know.
All right, and Hannah, do you have a bold prediction?
I do.
All right.
I think that the race will get canceled. That's my bold prediction.
Oh,
I think it would just be really funny.
What about the sprint? Just the race?
I think they'll like do the sprint, but it's
It
just
would
gonna
be.
get canceled.
I think it's funnier if they do the sprint.
Exactly. So it's like a cute little. They're like, oh, and then no race. You know what I mean?
Let them qualify though. How close the Strait of Miami?
Yeah,
that's
that'd
my
be
yeah.
beautiful.
Does anyone know if any of the drivers got a BBL? So me, Dave, and Nate get bonus points.
If they got a
I mean,
BBL,
I'll have to actually do some research
Well, I guess
about
it's
that. I'll
if
have to look.
Gasly gets a BBL, everyone at the access gets
Oh,
style points. It
Gasly.
has to be Gasly specifically.
well, where did Kim
Oh
K's
wow.
BBL go? Like she got it out, but who got it?
Who took over Kim's BBL?
Yeah,
Maybe
that's the real question.
why do we think Lewis is much more comfortable sitting in the car?
That's
Damn.
true.
He's got
Got some
extra
cushions. They
cushion.
they cut out some of the
Dude,
weight in the
how
car because they
crazy
took out the seat.
if Lewis shows up to Miami with a BBL? Like, so insane.
The fattest ass. He breaks the internet. Kim K tried to break the internet back in the day, but no. Everyone's looking at it. It can't be possible. It's AI. It's gotta be. It's a global hallucination. Lewis has a fattest ass. They took
I
out the seat
love
of
it.
his car. He's sitting on the fucking track as he drives. He doesn't feel a thing.
Oh man.
That'd be so beautiful. You know what? I support Lewis and his BBL.
F1
Yeah,
needs more BBL.
That's
he's
what I'm
getting.
saying.
Yes, he has ass confirming surgery. He's always been a big ass kind of a guy.
And he's had 5 weeks to
Hmm.
recover.
That's true.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's literally perfect.
Yeah, we're gonna see like a bunch of drivers with lip fillers and like
They're all yassified.
yeah.
Yes.
They finally have time to go to the plastic surgeons and I
Well,
guess
I think
Korea.
I've got my name for the title of this episode, which is just who got a BBL?
Who?
Anyway, I did promise that Dave would reveal his addiction at the end of the stream, so
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I think we all know what it is.
and that's the
It's
stream
Louis